Mhm.
Hello. We are back. We are now actually at the beginning of your basically week-long vacation. Um, so do you think that you would have went the night of the trial or the day after? Because that kind of depends on how much like time you get.
I I really do think she would have gone the day after. I think all of that would have taken too much out of her.
That's fair. The emotional highs and lows of being in court against dragons. Um, Awesome. So if you did that, then that means that until Halloween, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have about 5 days, and then the sixth day would be Halloween, right?
Mhm.
And how, in your estimation, how early would you like to go to your house to sort of get ready for everything? The day before?
Uh, I think she would give them like a day and a half. So like in
Okay.
the afternoon, leave Ravnica.
Okay, awesome, awesome. So then that means in Ravnica you would get 4 days, which is not
Mhm.
anything to snuff at, considering you have been busy, right? It has kind of been a little bit of everything all the time. And I think for Motiva, that's kind of the norm, right? She's always been the kind of person to be like really, really busy. But ever since that you've like ignited, and ever since you've kind of came into being a planeswalker, you've really slowed down and started to really appreciate having time with like the people that you care about. And so having this last 2 months full of things happening and things to worry about, or literally hiking through the jungle, right? It's a lot, you know? And getting a chance to really step away from it into a place that knows about planeswalkers but doesn't know who you are. If there was ever a doubt that everyone knew who you were in Strixhaven, the trial got rid of that, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, my poor girl's anonymity.
I know. But you have this moment. Uh, you throw everything that you could possibly want to take uh, into a bag to go pick up a scroll. You and Ashawn actually pack together. You go to his dorm room, as lackluster as it is. You pack his bag, as empty as it is.
She's
Before
harassing him about it.
the whole time. Truly has like 3 shirts, 2 pairs of pants, 1 pair of drawers. Like truly nothing.
Hmm.
Um, Before you end up packing your stuff, I would like to ask if there is a anything you can really think of that you want to do before you go, or if you want to talk a little bit about how you think Motiva is feeling on the cusp of this after everything, um, and that sort of thing. I would love to kind of give you the floor to talk.
I think yeah. I think she kind of doesn't believe it, like the idea that she's gonna have like a calm time. I
Mm-hmm.
I think she's waiting for like a ball to drop almost.
Mm-hmm.
So I think she's still kind of like she is extremely in the moment and she is not letting herself chill.
Yeah, she's very like looking over her shoulder, trying to make sure that like everything is handled. You know what I mean?
Like I think her and Ashawn packing and her like packing all of her stuff, a fucking trunk of hers, and like her like kind of getting on him and just being like, "Oh, you don't have enough," blah 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 blah. I think that like kind of shows that
Mm-hmm.
she like physically just cannot relax right now.
Yeah, 100%. And I don't imagine that like being at the school is actually helping very much because I mentioned this to Sarah in Flynn's mini session. Um, but like I said a minute ago, if there's any doubt that, oh, people don't really know who you are, people don't really pay attention. This is now like the third spark that's like been handled on campus, and it's the second year of like these kind of things happening. Um, and you just had a really, really, really visible court case, uh, which went really well, right? Like it was really scary, but everybody kind of like spoke up for how they care about you and they think about you and they know that like you aren't a threat. You are like archetypal almost of Strixhaven students and alumni. Um, but it kind of actually means that since it's fresh in everyone's mind, every once in a while people stop to talk to you. People check in on how you're doing. People talk about like, oh, how yesterday was really crazy, or like, oh, I'm really glad that like you found them, because of how much work like Grayson puts into planning extraction on campus with like non-planeswalkers. Now that multiple of them have happened, you guys are very like the things that you guys are doing end up being pretty well known.
Oh God.
Yeah. Um, so it's not the same as people coming up and knowing a lot about your life as a whole, right? But it's still like people that you don't really know sometimes talking to you.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that I definitely think that Motiva doesn't like it, but I definitely think that Ashan doesn't like it either.
Yeah.
I think
Oh,
Ashan is very like hackles raised about it.
can't believe. I think that she would. This is kind of stretching it, but I think that eventually Motiva would try to actually make her and Ashawn invisible while they're getting ready.
Ooh, that's a really cool one. I really like that. You can do that, right? You have spells for that?
Yeah, I don't. I will say I think I have two. She went to bed the day before. Can I say she has two invisibility previous spells?
Uh, yeah, most definitely. You also have Illusory Disguise, which is one that you have. So you could also make you guys look different.
Oh. Yeah, I think okay, no, you're a genius. I think Motiva would like disguise herself as like just a rando,
Mm-hmm.
and then she would like just make Ashawn invisible.
Ooh, okay, that's really fun. That's really fun. Hell yeah, we can definitely do that. And I think something that's really cool is that even if you didn't have it prepared, right, which I think you would to go to Ravnica if you're about to do crimes with your criminal boyfriend.
Mm.
um like the idea of like wanting to like close in yourself and almost like pull up that mantle to protect you and give you that space, I think is extremely in character. I think that like I think you do it right as like you had to hold back Ashan from like snapping at somebody, and you do it and you can kind of almost like see some of that. The aggression melts away but the like frustration doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
um and I think even if you don't say anything, I think Ashan kind of mutters to himself like, oh, now you care, you know what I mean, or like now they care, you know.
Yeah. I think I do think she would try not to talk too much to not give away that like, oh, totally not an invisible man over here.
Uh-huh.
But I think that she would like sit her broom down for him and like casually attach her trunk to it and like offer for him to sit and like pet his leg and just mumble that people just didn't understand.
Mm-hmm. You can't really see him nod or react, and you don't hear him, but his silence kind of sounds like acceptance, and he kind of stops his grumbling. But I think it's like a heavy feeling that's like a little sad on the first day of your vacation, you know?
Yeah, that's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think it doubles down Motiva like moving. I think she would be going faster.
Agree, agree. Awesome. You get your stuff all settled up. Do you think that there is anything else you would like to do before you head on over to Ravnica? Or do you think you want to just get in, get out?
I will say, I remember say you confirming this. Motiva can planeswalk to Ravnickel.
It's true. You can play Dr. Nicole, and then I believe Ashan can try. Ashan can follow your trail, essentially. So you can
So
go
I think
whenever.
Motiva
You
would
don't
give
even
a
have to tell
Sean the
Dariga to go
scroll.
anywhere anymore.
I
Well,
think she would give a
Ravnica.
Sean the scroll as like an oh shit button.
Oh, I think that that's really fair. I think that that's really fair.
But like other than that, she would immediately like just be like, okay, we ready?
I think. I think you just kind of like hear some wrestling, and you feel him bite your cheekbone, and he says, "Ready as I'll ever be."
A skrinked, a little skrinked from her. She like takes a second and you ass, and she takes her trunk, takes her broom. Okay, don't eat shit.
Don't drop us in a puddle.
She thinks on that actually. I know I'm just gonna drop us in the suburban ocean. Let's go. And she's gonna take a walk.
All right, you go to take a walk. And you don't even have to really roll for it anymore. Ravnica is a place that is really familiar to you. And it is a place that you feel a connection to. And I think that's kind of like one of the ways that has like made you able to so comfortably walk there. Obviously the amount of times you've gone back and forth, right? But it feels almost natural. You barely have to look the minute you kind of step into that snowy forest, and then a second later you are. When Motiva walks to Ravnica, where do you think she walks to? Where do you think that she would land? I'm gonna say you can choose.
I think her number one idea is a like hideaway in the subway station so that they can just walk up and get to their B&B.
I think that's a good idea. Also keeps you from being super visible, you know what I mean? And you walk, and you are suddenly in the dank tunnels right off of one of the subway tunnels. And you can feel like instantly that the air is heavier, right? It is moist. It tastes of dirt and mold and more unsavory flavors that you are also familiar with as a reclaimer. And within a couple seconds, you kind of hear the soft sound of boots hitting stone as Ashan drops down right behind you, having successfully followed your trail. And he's never been to Ravnica. He's never gone with you to Ravnica. He didn't. He was still in his situation whenever you got extracted. So you see him. I'll say that the invisibility is off by now because it was mostly just to get you guys out, right? And you see him kind of just look around, and like he lets out this kind of like low whistle that echoes, and he says, "This kind of sucks."
Oh, we haven't even seen the skyline yet. Don't worry about it. That is home.
You did promise me a skyline.
I did, and this is definitely not gonna be it. We have to go through the 15 layers of buildings and dirt first.
They just keep building on top of it, huh?
Yes, actually. There's no dirt. There's no ground.
Huh.
There's a mountain, I think, but it's like the tip of it.
That's weird.
Yeah, Ravnica is more like a bowl with a bunch of cereal than it is like a globe, if I can put it that way.
Huh.
Yeah, there's just layers and layers of buildings under us and over us. Nothing wasted.
Okay, that's kind of cool. It's kind of badass.
Do you want to ride the centipede?
The what?
She's gonna take his hand. She's gonna walk him up to the station.
You take his hand and walk him up to the station. And the cool thing about Ravnica is that weird ass people are viewed all the time, right? So nobody bats an eye at a person in all black streetwear looking kind of gray and a Golgari with horns, right? And you walk over to the subway station, and Ashan is kind of like looking around and craning his neck around, even though there's still not a lot to like see. And then he comes up to this huge, I believe Kriskaya station. It's like this big station that you met Jason. And everybody is kind of like coming and going, and there's a little coffee stand with the papers, and people milling about. And right as you come up, you see the I think I called it the velocipede.
Yes.
That sounds about right. You see the velocipede come in, the sort of upside down train station, a biomechanical magitech centipede. And he's like, the centipede.
It's a centipede. It's a centipede train. Centitrain. Velocipede is the real name for it. Don't call it a centipede train.
Everyone is so creative.
Oh, if you want real creativity, you should try the coffee. It sucks.
I feel like that would just have Ashan squint at you, and he says, well, don't oversell it on me now.
Oh, no, you don't understand. No, you don't. He takes them and she walks them over. One small, please.
You see the goblin behind the counter leaning sort of elbows on the bar, says, sure, right up. And you see it being made, and Ashan is like also watching it with a slow growing like crease on his nose, as you watch this sort of viscous motor oil coffee, the only kind on Ravnica, with its little synthetic sugars and no creamer.
Motiva is like shaking. She's so hype about this shitty coffee.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, you see?
The goblin slides it over and is like, oh, 1 copper, and Ashan slides over a single copper while picking up the coffee and just kind of like looks at it. And doesn't really move away until like a line forms behind you both, and so you both kind of shuffle to the side, but he just keeps like looking at it.
She smiles at him and she says, we can't bring it onto the train, so you have to drink it.
I mean, I guess I've had worse in my mouth.
No. No. No, 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 no. Chug, 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 chug.
I'm gonna roll to see if he can chug it. It is hot.
It's also thick.
Yeah.
Chug hot Pepto, Ashan.
It's literally sludge. I'm sorry if this is so unappetizing to you, Sarah. It's because coffee and Ravnica is really bad.
Nasty.
You see that you're egging him on and you're like, this is awful, this is the worst ever, you're not gonna stand it at all. And I feel like that is almost like what spurs him on. And so the minute you go chug chug chug, he actually goes to like throw it back, and it is like a bit slow. But considering it's like hot coffee sludge, you're surprised that he manages to drink it in a pretty continuous stream. Very a la frat boy, right? And you see that when he pulls the cup away from his mouth, he crushes the cup, lets out a really loud, like breath slash groan, and then he immediately makes like the face you make when you taste really bad vodka. You know what I mean? Like cat sneeze face.
Yeah.
Well, I'm about to not sleep for an entire week.
You won't need sleep when I'm around. Don't worry about it.
He Kobe's it into the trash can.
She's gonna smack him on the cheek. She's gonna say, "We can get you some water later. I'm not kissing you when you smell like that."
He pinches your butt.
No. She hip checks him. Get on the damn train.
And you guys get tickets and you get on the Velocipede ready to go on a little journey. And like I said last time you were on one, they're pretty smooth actually. They have a little bit of jostling, but you actually imagine that that's more just because when it was a real centipede, it would jostle you a lot. So people are just used to it culturally, right? It's a feature, even. We in the days of paradise, we loved being jostled by the centipede. Thank you.
We crave the jostling.
It's true. But you go ahead and go, and you go from Kurskaya Station all the way over towards Selesnya. What's that station's name again? One second.
Yeah, like that.
Sorry, everyone. Technical difficulties.
No, it's okay.
Awesome. So you get off at Yasuno Station, which is near the sort of precinct that all of Selesnya is in. Because if you recall, basically all of Selesnya is in one district, which is very different than how other like guild halls work, where it's like there's a guild hall in certain districts, but like each district doesn't have like a bigger presence than other ones. All of the Selesnya Conclave is in like one area because of the nature of that district. And it's one that you've kind of been near before, but I don't know if it's been one that you've traveled to extensively as a Golgari, right? But you kind of like step off on that station and you go to walk up and you are just like met with like a beautiful spring breeze full of green and life and sunlight. As you see the sort of like wide swaths of like grass and tree line and sort of grazing animals built sort of around these copse of trees. And you see like the huge tree of Vitugazi in the distance.
She's gonna turn and she's gonna pose and she's gonna motion to all the trees and all of the greenery. She's gonna say, "This isn't normal. Don't get used to this. But this is where we'll be staying."
Okay. Kinda. I mean, I guess for here this is fancy, right?
I think Selesnya and the Senate are like the fancy bastards
Huh.
in terms of like bougie. There's also the Orzhov, but I'm not taking you to a bank that collects on souls. Unless you want to go to the bank.
No. I think the minute souls come into the equation, I'm fine.
Now I'm worried why you would want to go to one in general. Just gonna
Hey, you
truck
don't
them
think
out.
that I could have a respectable savings account on a different plane?
No, I don't even think
Interest
you
or
could have
whatever
a.
they call it.
I don't think you could have a respectable savings account on Arcavius. You don't even have 5 pairs of underwear.
I could
I don't
have five
expect you
pairs
to
of
have
underwear.
$5. Okay. Okay. Do you want to buy underwear at 10th Street?
Sometimes I think about a thing for Sean to do, and then I'm always like, is it too mean? And then I think about how they clown on each other all the time. I think he just like pushes you on the shoulder.
Ah, she pushes him back. The fuck?
Yeah, literally.
She just shoves him back. And it's just like, yeah, that's what I thought. The answer is no.
He starts sprinting.
She just gets on her broom and chases after him, though.
I think that he goes to start like running as a way to like get back at you, but he kind of just like throws his head back and he like laughs. And he kind of like, I feel like he avoids the roads and just kind of like runs through the grass to like, there's this part of the district that Celestia's in called the Concord, the Concordance. It's like this upraised platform, like a sky highway, but for like walking.
Oh.
That takes you kind of like up, so there's more space, but it also takes you to some of the higher levels of like Vitugazi. So I keep imagining that he would like. I keep imagining him like going to like climb a tree, and then you're up there with the broom, and then he drops down and he goes to like, I don't know, like to me I feel like he's like racing you but with no end goal, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. No, I can see it. They're just chasing each other around a fucking tree like a bunch of hooligans.
They
She's
do look
into
like
it
hooligans.
too. No, the way that they both be howling, cackling,
They are like
laughing.
screaming, you know, like children being murdered. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're having a great time.
I think so too. I just think that it's like one of those things where like you're like fucking with each other, and then it's just like, I'm just gonna go ham. You guys barely have to like care about like anything, because you don't have to care about like what people are thinking. It's not like your teachers are here that can give you demerits and send you to fucking like detention. You don't have to worry about your peers being like fucking weirdo. Like barely anybody. Huh? Go ahead.
Cringe and free.
Cringe and free. Nobody here knows you because you're far away from other Golgari as well. There's not going to be Golgari hanging around over here.
Nope.
You're just being little hoodlums. But I think it's cute. It's a form of play.
It is. I love my stupid little ferrets. I think like the only time when a Motiva is just like stop, stop, stop is whenever she just like. I imagine she's like starting to fall behind and she just gets mad. And she's like, "Stop! We need to put our stuff away. My trunk is slowing me down."
Yeah, it's like, hey, we have to go actually talk to our Airbnb. Stop it.
Stop it! Stop it! This is yo, it's not fair.
It's not fair. I feel like as soon as you do that, I feel like he goes to like he like trips, but it's almost on purpose, so he like lands flat on his back in the grass. And I honestly, sorry, go ahead.
Big chipmunk cheeks, just looking down, and just like not fair. He did.
If you can't give up, just say that.
Well, I'm not giving up. I'm making it equal.
I said if you can't keep up, that's not my fault.
She's gonna sit on him.
He kind of just like squeezes you, and I feel like you roll on the ground for a little bit, but mostly it's kind of just like him laying there and like looking up at the sky. I actually do think that Ashan would really like this part of Ravnica. I think that Ashan really likes urban locales because of where he's from, but I think that like there's something really calming about just being in a field.
Yeah. A field and grass.
Mm-hmm. And I feel like the only thing that really motivates him to actually get up and go to your Airbnb is every once in a while, especially because you guys have just been running around. Some Celestians do kind of like stop and like stare at you a little bit. And I think that there's like probably like a centaur a little ways away that looks like they're about to come over to see what you guys are doing, rolling around in the grass. But then you guys can kind of like pick yourself up, now grass stained and red faced, but a little bit of energy put back in your step as you go over to the canopy. 1 second. Awesome. So to check in, because you're literally Airbnb, you're staying in somebody's house, right? It's a little bit more involved than just like rolling up to an inn, right? But you have your little paper, and you kind of go up the concordance to go to the canopy, and you see these like huge trees, which are again almost fantastical when it comes to like Ravnica to see, right? And you see that kind of houses are built like on these really big trees, or like under them, or within the branches. Sometimes there's like a knot that's been carved out, and like somebody lives in there. And you slowly find the address that was given to you. And who opens the door is sort of this middle-aged looking like fawn woman. And you see she looks at the both of you and looks a little startled, but gives a big smile and says, "Oh, were you here for the weekend?"
Yes. Actually.
Yes. Nice. It's nice to meet you. My name is Lily. Come inside. We were just cleaning up before we left. And you see as you're kind of like let in, it's this very homey, like cottage looking feel. You see that it's kind of like very like factory reset. It looks like nobody's sat here ever level of clean, right? But mostly you see out of the corner of your eye a blanket being folded up on like a floor sofa. And you see the person folding it by holding it by one corner is like a little fairy, a little sprite.
Oh shit.
Fairies live in Ravnica, fun fact.
I did know that.
Yes. But you see that, and Lily goes to say, "We're just getting everything set up. But please make
Oh,
yourself
thank
comfortable."
you. Yes. Yes, ma'am. She just sits.
Yeah, you just sit. And Sean goes to kind of like lean against a wall. And kind of like idly chit chats with you, but I don't think he would start any conversations that are like that involved until they're done. It probably takes them an extra like 30 minutes or so um, before the sprite goes to bring you a key with a little key ring, easily half the size of their body. Um, Plops it in your hand, and he goes to say, "Have fun. When you leave, leave it under the mat."
Uh, yes, I can do that.
I hope you could.
Thank you. Oh. I think she looks startled and she just like nods. She's just like, please, please know that I'm competent.
He goes to give you a smile and a salute, and he and the fawn go to leave, and you have your little Airbnb set up.
Yippee.
Yeah, it's really cute. It kind of has like I don't want to say it's an open floor plan. It's almost like in a spiral setup where like technically most of the like house is in like a place with no like walls, but it's like curved, and then it's got like a nice little bedroom tucked in the middle of it with like a little bathroom on the side. Um has two beds
Oh,
just to accommodate for most people who want to stay there, but we know you're only going to be sharing one. You could honestly push them together
ah,
if you wanted.
big bed.
Big bed. Big bed in a tree house. It's really cute though. The bathroom in particular has kind of like a really high window skylight situation.
Mm.
Yeah, you're in the boughs of a tree. You don't have to worry about somebody looking down on you when you're taking a piss. You know what I mean?
Oh, I I think Motiva is literally just climbing around and looking at everything.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And she just like calls out and it's just like, okay, so I have bad news. I know we want to stay here. We cannot do mischievous things around here or else we get kicked out.
Well, I don't know why you put us in the district for squares, but okay, I get it.
Be- because I don't want to get sick.
That's fair. It also is. It's pretty all right over here. I think it's cool.
Yeah, we can get in trouble, just not right next to Vitagazi.
It's everywhere else is fair game.
Yeah, I don't mind being a fool around other Golgari. That doesn't matter to me.
Good to know. So, and you see that he goes to kind of like, after pushing the beds together, just like flomps on the bed and says, "Where to first, boss? You had an itinerary."
Yes, well, I was going to offer, would we like to, it's a early and bright morning. Would we like to go to the market first, which would take a bit longer, or would we like to skedaddle along the buildings?
Me staring at a map of Ravnica for logistic purposes. Sorry, one second.
And Street is way farther.
Yeah, 100% it is. It's really far away from from Vitu-Gazi. I do know that.
I think Motiva would add like the thing that is just like, oh, if we go shopping now, we can get all of like our food.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I wonder if also Ashan would be interested in doing it because it's far away, because then you guys could walk through the city. Especially because, like, sorry, I pulled out a map, so I'm assuming you guys have a map with you and are looking at it. You guys would be able to go, like, across the Transguild Promenade, because Tin Street is also really long.
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder if to Ashan would be, like, kind of two birds, one stone, especially because Deadbridge Chasm is around where Corozda is, if you wanted to take him to, Golgari places.
Mm-hmm. I I think yeah, two birds, one stone. Let's do this.
Okay, swag. Then you guys are gonna go over to Tin Street. Um, hell yes. Also, yes, the Grand Concourse, not the Concordance. That's what I meant. Sky Highways. Okay, okay. Sorry, I'm looking at the map still. Okay.
No, you're fine.
I forgot there was an adventure for Ravnica set in Tin Street.
Oh,
Yeah, it's called Krenko's Old Way or something like that. Anyway,
kind of cute.
yeah. Beside the point. Anyways, you guys are going to 10th Street. So I think that Ashan thought the Velocipede was cool, right? But I also think that, like, I think that he honestly might want to walk, which takes a while, right? But that doesn't bother Ashan. Ashan is the kind of person that hikes for a living, right?
Yeah, I
Uh,
love him.
I love him so much. He is such a hikes for the first date kind of guy, which makes him look like a serial killer, right? Um, but I think that he actually like legitimately really likes it. I think that he ends up kind of like taking in a lot of the hustle and bustle, and there is a lot of hustle and bustle. You remember, you haven't always been able to be above ground in Ravnica, so it's also very unique to you because you only really got to explore it after you got extracted and came back, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it feels so lively because everyone is always, they have somewhere to go, somewhere to be. Every person here is someone, and it's really cool as somebody who has almost like assimilated into parts of Ravnican culture, aka guild life. You can very easily see who belongs to what guild, despite how casual like clothes and fashion can sometimes be. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it's something that's very like unique. You know what I mean?
I kind of think that Motiva would try to let Ashauna in on it too. I think she'd be like, "Oh, that's obviously like an is it? Oh, that's an Orzhov. Stay away. Oh, that's a Boros guard. Let's fucking go."
Uh-huh, exactly. And I think that that's something that Ashan actually will engage with a lot. Ashan is sometimes prone to people watching, so whenever you point things out and he's like kind of like watching people go through the day to day, it's kind of like cementing into him like, okay, these are factors that can help me make decisions about the people I'm interacting with, which is true. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Somebody has to make certain choices, and decisions on what they are willing and not willing to do if they join a guild,
Exactly,
especially on the
exactly.
not willing.
Exactly, exactly. And considering now the guildless population and gateless, but that's separate. The guildless population is higher than ever. It's about 50% now.
Hmm.
So 50% of Ravnikins aren't even a part of a guild. So I think being in one is a very conscious choice nowadays.
Yeah, I also do think Motiva would make a point of being like, hey, don't have to be in a guild. You can be gateless. And I think she would use the word gateless.
Ooh, that's fun. Okay. Any particular reason?
I just think that she would respect it.
I think so as well. I think the idea of gateless. Guildless is a descriptor. Gateless is a I am intentionally not joining a guild because I think that they are flawed. You know what I mean? It's a political ideology, which I think is very cool.
I think she would respect it.
I think that's fair.
I think she would like make a point to not show bias towards Golgari either and be like, it's all cults.
It's all cults, baby. It's all brainwashing and propaganda. Woo! uh, but yeah, you guys have that sort of walk, and it's really nice. It's an early morning. You grab a bite to eat on the way, uh, with plans to get more serious food whenever you get to Tin Street. And eventually you get there. I want to say it takes a couple hours. This might be the one thing you do today because of how far away it is from where you live right now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but you get over there, and it is. You didn't go to Tin Street when you were here, I don't think. Or at least when you went, it was just the night market, right? It was like one corner of it.
Oh yeah, she just went to the New Moon Market.
There we go, yep. It is almost night and day, literally, to see it during the daytime, where it is the most chaotic, thorough way that I think you've ever really seen, because it's like if a bazaar was just a long line, but also there are buildings there, and sometimes there are businesses in like all three levels of a building, and they're sort of crammed really tightly that to like leave them, there's no normal sized streets to leave. It's all alleyways. Like you have to start taking shortcuts into alleyways to come out on this street, and it's like a normal sized street, but it is packed to the brim with people and stuff and smells and yelling and stalls and buildings with their doors open. And when you went at night, it mostly catered to people who are nocturnal, but also to more unsavory folk. You can definitely see which places are meant to be for more unsavory folk, but there's also a lot of just legitimate businesses. There's vegetable vendors that you think have like lugged their preserves all the way from Vitugazi. You see alchemy shops and potion shops and gadgets and clockwork technology just on sale. I actually have shop items generated if you would like to peruse some of the items you can find in Tin Street today.
I am waddling.
And
I'm waddling rapidly at your location. I am a fat duck running at you.
I'm so excited. I was so excited when you said that you wanted to do Tin Street first because I think that this is going to be really cool. And you also can do this thing because I know you were talking about really wanting Ishan to get more clothes. I don't think that I think he grumbles about it, but I actually think he would do that. If you want to pick out an outfit for Ishan, I will let you and say he buys it.
I am waddling rapidly.
I wanted this to be really self-indulgent, so I'm really excited. Okay, cool. So I am going to make you a list of items. You are going to have to look them up. I'm really sorry because there's no way that I can really give you a link to the shop inventory that I have made. But they're really cool. So I'm going to send it in a bunch of little snips, and anything that looks interesting, feel free to grab.
Yes, sir.
And the cool thing about this is that Ravnica is a metropolis, right? So it is huge. It is a huge place. Some of these are actually above your item level, but if you have the gold, I will say you can buy them.
Wahoo, wahoo, wahoo.
And then, obviously, if you get a formula, you can then get one of your crafter friends from Strixhaven to help you make it.
Mm-hmm. Nice. Okay.
Okay, I have a little bit more, but not very many.
Okay.
And then... Okay. And again, some of these are out of your price range, because I've technically seen your money. I made it before I knew how much money you had. So it's just like, these are stuff that you can look at, stuff that you can maybe save up for later.
Yeah. If I can get it later, that's fine. As long as it suddenly doesn't disappear.
No. These are definitely things you can buy, especially whenever you know the name and go out of your way to try to get them.
Let me... Wet slapping sound as I run around Pinterest.
I thought you'd be really excited for that.
She would be really excited. Terrible news. She would be very fond about dressing him up.
I like it a lot too, because I'm imagining the way that this montage works is it's not necessarily like, okay, dressing room, put on an entirely new outfit, but like if it's like a shirt, you hold it up to him. If it's a jacket, he shrugs it on to try it on. You know what I mean? I think it's really cute.
Yeah, I think that she would also use it as a chance to be like, oh, we have to get you a Halloween costume.
Oh my god,
no.
yes! Okay, if you want the outfit you pick and then the Halloween costume to be two separate, then that's totally cool. I'm gonna look at Halloween costumes to see if I find one that he would like. And then you can tell me if you find ones that Motiva would recommend.
Nice. Not Love Island ads.
I hate
You're not
Love
what
Island.
I need.
Oh, also, I'm gonna go ahead and pause, because this is just gonna be us looking at stuff, and I'm really excited.
Oh yeah, brother.
Hello, and we're back post-shopping trip. Motiva proceeded to buy Ashan a bunch of hoodies, an outfit for Halloween, which we have decided is going to be a group couples cosplay of a goth remix of the Wizard of Oz party, which is very awesome. Ashana's going to be the Scarecrow. And Motiva also bought Ashan a very nice pair of leather boots, straight from a cobbler on 10th Street. As well as purchasing a shortbread spy, which is a little cookie that can spy on things, but you have to eat it, even though it's gross, an hour later. An electro cable for war crimes from a really sketchy Is It League dealer in an alleyway. And then a scarily cheap thrifted spider gun. That something irrevocably bad must be wrong with it. That Motiva doesn't know yet.
Stupendous.
Stupendous. Alrighty. You do that, and you spend kind of your whole afternoon over here on 10th Street after spending the morning walking over here, and it's really fun. It's very lively. It's an experience you don't really get to have with Ashan because you and Ashan end up being homebodies because of how reclusive the both of you can be, and because you guys are on campus all the time, right? You're mostly worried about planeswalker things or school. But being in this kind of like urban environment, away from all of that, you feel like you see Ashan almost like light up. Uh, Immediately sort of comfortable in this environment. As somebody who grew up in a very, very clustered urban environment as well, it's almost like a lot of the baggage and worries that Ashan tends to have on campus ever since he's been to Strixhaven is kind of not there. Uh, and it's just kind of something that sticks with you the further and further you get into this little shopping trip.
I cannot explain how delighted she is with mere words. I think she's so happy. All Motiva wants is for Ashan to be able to relax.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And it's really nice getting to like see it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. It's just important, especially to her,
Yeah.
especially for him. I think she's kind of I say this lovingly. I think she's kind of fixated on like just being a sugar mama for
Mm-hmm.
like an evening while she can.
I think so. And I think that comes across, you know what I mean, whenever you buy him the clothes and you let him try stuff on, and you hold stuff up to him and you get to like see him kind of like have the experience of like getting a fresh pair of boots made specially for him. You know what I mean? Which isn't something that like most people get to do on Earth. Um but in most places that aren't capitals wastelands of fast fashion, that's the norm. So it's also really interesting to see that like Ashan is like this quiet kind of like happy but also at a loss in this interaction. It makes you feel like most of his stuff was either hand me down or thrifted or stolen, which isn't surprising.
No. I literally can see him like in the cobbler's chair as she's just nuzzling him and just like talking about how he's gonna look so handsome. And then the rest of the world is startled because there's a Golgari with money.
Mm-hmm. A lot of money too.
Don't we don't want to ask where that came from.
Well, yeah, no, I'm minding my business. I am minding my business. You know what I mean? Not gonna say no to good money
Mm-hmm.
on 10th Street.
Not gonna say no to good money on 10th Street. Yeah, she's just having a good time.
I think you guys both are having a good time, and I think that that's really, really like. I'm just emo. I just think it's sweet to see. You know what I mean?
They deserve this. They've been doing nonstop shit this entire time.
It's true. It's true. I'm gonna check something really quick. I think that like as you guys are starting to like get geared up for like the walk back as like the sun is setting, it's cast this really pretty like burnt orange like cast on like the dark stone of Ravnica, which has this like big vaulted gothic architecture, right? Ancient, old, right? And it's really gorgeous as you start to like leave uh the uh the hustle and bustle of 10th Street behind. I personally think that for himself, Ashan bought the extendable pincher because I think that that's really funny.
I think he would have it.
I think
He would 100% like pick up clothes with it.
100%. He would love it. He's pinching Motiva with it. You know what I mean? Just to be a little funny.
Mhm.
Um, but I think as you guys both go to start walking, he goes to put an arm around your shoulder, and you have like in your Golgari outfit, your chest is pretty out, right? And you have your sort of Golgari token that you got whenever you were fully accepted as a Golgari. But you actually feel something else kind of like slip around your neck and clink against it as Ashan goes to put his arm around you, as you see this like dark, like pinkish purple pendant. That in the sort of like, I'm going to be really gay because he won't say it, in the sort of sunlight, the way that like the pink like shines on it, looks a lot like the pink cast that your eyes got when you became Huldra.
But he's gay. Oh no.
Yeah.
And I just gave up her other. Oh, she would be so soft. I think she'd be startled and she'd think he's like being a hoodlum. And then like she feels like the cold.
Mm-hmm.
And I think she would like take a second and then like look at it and look to him and just say thank you. And she give him a kiss.
I was about to say, I don't think he says anything. I think he just goes to kiss you on the temple. As you walk together, as the night grows long around you.
Love.
They're in love. Also, you can add that to your inventory because that is actually a pendant of the occult.
Holy shit.
Yes.
Where'd you get this money?
It's on a discount.
5-finger discount.
It's on a 5-finger discount.
5-finger discount.
He was, fun fact, because I think this is fun to tell you. If there was something that you really wanted that was out of your price range, he was going to try to steal it for you and I was going to give it to you. But you didn't outright say any of the expensive stuff that you, like, wanted, so I was like, I'll just pick something, because he would have wanted to give you something.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. It's gay.
He's in love with you.
He's in love. Love is for the way you look at me.
The only one I see.
Tree.
Very extraordinary.
Hehe. Soft lady.
That's
She. I think she would hop on broom. And I think she would invite him to like sit on the broom with her and like take a chill like halfway there and then walk all the way back. Have some food.
That sounds cute. I think that sounds really cute, especially because you could take the both of you really up high if you wanted.
It's true. I think Motiva would offer a skyline stroll.
Yeah, I think Ashan would definitely be really interested in it. He doesn't often ride on your broom, but he is someone who likes to be tall. So he kind of like sits, I want to say like side saddle on your broom just to have a bit more control over how he's sitting on it. And you take off into the night, and you see the kind of like last edge of the sun dip below the horizon, and it's really pretty. It's not the same kind of like bright that like a really like neon city from back home would be like, right? But there are like lampposts outside, there's floating lights. People have their own magic items that give them light around them. There's other people using like sky taxis, and there's like Pegasus Knights, there's like Wojak riders. Um and so even up here it feels like it feels full of life. You can really feel the breath of the city. Even though you are now a bit separated and it's a bit more quiet and you're able to kind of drink it in. And something I think that you notice, even as you're looking down at the city, you kind of see airships coming to and from other districts. The 10th district itself is like so big that your horizon, you can't really tell if it's another district or not. But you can kind of see the floating island above District 10, kind of chained down to the earth to keep it from flying away. And the little shuttle carriers that take people there and back, and how it is also covered in golden light. I think it's very pretty.
It is very pretty. They settle in for a snooze.
Yeah, you guys get back and you settle in for a little sleep. And you're in your really big bed, and Ashan cuddles up next to you, arms around you, falling asleep on your shoulder. After a really busy day, and that's how you spend your first day here in Ravnica. I would like to ask if there's anything else you would like to do. We have about 20 minutes left. We could maybe do 30. But anything else that we don't do today, I will definitely be doing in your other mini session. We'll just do it as a warm up before Momthers.
Momthers. Do you think we could do a party in 30 minutes?
We could definitely do a party in 30 minutes, especially because like the party isn't really the star of the show. It's how you guys are reacting at the party that's the star of the show.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. I want to say maybe then what the timeline looks like is maybe you guys tuck in for like an early snooze from an exciting day, and then you wake up in the wee hours of the morning, which is like a perfect time to go to a Rakdos Thrasher. And I would like to ask you, I think, something that I think is really fun. When you think Rakdos party, are you taking Ashan to like the first one you can find, or do you think you're looking for a certain style or a certain kind of entertainment in particular?
I think you would try to take him somewhere that does acrobatics.
Okay. That's definitely doable. I think that's definitely doable, right? So, you get up and you kind of like search around for the closest Rakdos club, which is definitely not near Vitu-Ghazi.
No.
They would have a
No.
conniption. But the thing about Rakdos is that they are prolific. They're everywhere because they, even though they are considered very distasteful, they are the city's entertainment, right? So you find a little seedy club underneath a bar, a precinct or two over. And you end up having to... So to me, what happens when you come up to the door is I think in my head they would ID you, right? Obviously, you guys aren't from here, right? So to me, that feels like you have to bribe your way in, but that makes the bouncer like you more, so he lets you,
Nice.
right? Again, not going to make you carve that money out of you because this is a mini session, but I think that that's really fun flavor for how that works.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to say like the opening from Devilman Crybaby is playing in this Rakdos club, but that's very Rakdos club music.
Yeah.
It's a lot of bass and it's a lot of moaning as vocals, whether it be sexual or pain, who knows.
Probably
There's like
both.
probably both. There's like red strobing lights. Um, but it also is like not every it's not like a rave or like a club that you're used to where like everybody is dancing. There's very distinctly the people who are meant to be the entertainers and people who are sitting in booths kind of like quietly taking in the atmosphere or watching, which is a little jarring I think to Motiva's idea of like what a club would be like. But like I'm sure Adri would have shown you a Rakdos club while you were here, so it's not unexpected.
Hmm.
Adri seems like they would like this kind of thing.
Probably.
I love you, you little freak.
Love you, Audrey.
Um, but I think that you guys kind of like get a booth, and Ashan is just like kind of like taking it in and goes to sit down. You're brought drinks by this like half dressed woman in like a latex mask. Uh, before she scuttles away. And Ashan just like looks at you and just says, really have all types in this city.
Oh yeah, there's everything here. You got the dumps, you have the club, you have a tree.
You have a tree.
I wanted to show you all the bits and bobs.
I think we're gonna see more bits and bobs than we signed up for tonight.
I mean, that's fine.
You see currently, there's this almost like a contortionist thing happening right now, where like these three Rakdos performers are like, is it a coordinated dance or is it a competition? Not really sure, but it's like I have such a clear image in my head. How do I get it on the paper? It's like if you were doing synchronized swimming, but on a dance floor. You know what I mean? Where it's like contorting in weird shapes to like visually just look really weird. Like avant-garde almost.
Stupendous.
Yes. So not that exciting right now. What's up?
This is what I'm here for. What the hell?
It's true. And it's definitely something that like a lot of people are kind of like having drinks and like commenting on, but there's a very clear divide between the people who are working at this establishment and the people who are viewers. And it's because of something that you were warned about, that it's like if you seem too into it or if you interact too much with the performers, then they will pull you into performances.
Mm-hmm.
So it entirely depends on like how you think Motiva would interact with this space, or do you think that she's like just using it as a venue and talking to Ashan? What do you think Motiva's doing?
I have two things to say. One, I do think Motiva is... Okay, so here's the thing.
Yeah.
I wanted to say this. I do think Motiva is drinking.
Okay, swag.
Lightly, I think she would be sipping a thing.
Yeah. I think Ashan would also be drinking.
Horrible news. I do think that means that she would be cheering.
Nice.
I think she would be encouraging and like pointing out to him. It's just like, ah, look at that.
Okay. We're about to do something really fun.
Okay.
I think I would like you to make me 2 rolls. I need you to make me a fortitude save. And then actually the second one's a secret roll because I caught myself.
Ooh. I need to check my fortitude. Okay, it's okay. Apparently I'm an expert. Apparently. 2.
Two.
2 plus 11, 13.
Okay, not awful, not awful, but also not very good. Awesome.
Uh-huh.
I don't think anything awful happens to you because of that, but I think that you are like feeling it. Motiva is somebody who almost has like a point of contention. I don't think I've ever actually seen you drink in game, right?
No, she's never drunk in or out of game, actually.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that speaks for how comfortable you are with Ashan and how you're here to have fun. And I feel like it kind of almost makes like you and Ashan like again complacent in this area that's like a little dangerous, but it's like, ah, what are they gonna do? Ah, what are you gonna do? We're having fun. It's exciting. The energy is in the room, right? I think what happens is you don't really notice it until it's right on top of you, right? Where you are at one point cheering and like laughing and making jokes with Ashan, and then uh, you are kind of stood in front of you is this almost like waiter type figure, wearing these sort of like really tight, like I want to say maybe tights, like I want to say like figure hugging like tights, and like this almost like a mockery of like a Victorian vest. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And the only reason why you even notice that he's here is because Ashan notices him a little bit before you, and the smell of flowers and the sound of bells, right? Like jester bells almost. But you can't really see where they are on this person. Um, and the first thing that this person says to you, I think, is that he smiles at Ashan, but then looks at you and says, "You have a lovely voice."
Thank you.
I think tonight has been far too dull, don't you think? And before you can really formulate a reaction, there are hands on you. And you are kind of like pulled out of your seat. And I don't even want to say particularly firm. I don't want to say that they're hurting you. But you in your kind of like tipsy state are physically moved to standing. He turns about 90 degrees and then like pushes you so you stumble back before somebody else kind of catches you.
Eh.
And I think what this starts is this sequence of like almost like a dance macabre style dance where you are being spun and passed to someone else and twirled, and in the middle of it these lights are kind of like turning multicolored and like warping at the edges, until you are face to face waltzing with a beautiful dancer, uh, balancing on knife point, as you can hear the scrape along the marble of the floor as she dances with you.
I know her.
Yeah, you do.
I know you.
Sorry if that was really stilted and random, but the minute you had that idea, I was like, oh, that's really fun. And then you were like, I'm interacting with it. And I'm like, this would be really fun. So I think if you have any particular things that you want to do tonight, you can. I will say, for the sake of making the mini sessions easy, this isn't a super violent club, but you do probably throw up by the end of the night, and you and Ashan are like toyed with a little bit by these Rakdos performers.
They're wasted. It's their fault.
Literally. And it's kind of fun.
Excitation. It is kind of fun. I kind of blame them throwing up on getting fucking topsy turvy dayed.
Yeah.
Oh, I think Motiva would be singing and howling. I think he would be having a good time. She's used to going to like the pit. She doesn't give a shit.
Literally. This is just like a slightly weirder mosh pit, if I'm honest with you.
A slightly off-putting mosh pit, but bad news, she has moving hair. Who's more unnerving now? Atheist?
Yeah. I truly think that people are also like whispering into your ear to try to get you to come to Rakdos and leave Golgari, which is very funny because it's hard to leave a guild.
It's very hard.
It also makes you look awful. It makes you look like an
Yeah,
asshole.
I think you just have a haha cool. Just keep spitting.
Yeah.
Thanks, thanks, gays. Spin.
It's also really funny because this is your morning for the second day.
Ah, it's fine. Nobody needs to know she got thrashed in the
Yeah,
morning.
no one needs to know
Nobody
you day drunk at 7 in the morning. That's fine. It's fine. You're on
is.
vacation.
It's vacation, baby.
Hell yes. I think then, since it's about to be 10, that this is a good place to stop. And then I think I will have your last, like, big Ravnica interaction as a warm up before you go to meet your moms.
Me moms.
Your moms.
My mothers.
Thank you to my mothers. Okay, I'm going to stop recording.